this moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Giving the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Whether you're listening in the afternoon, in the morning, whenever you're listening, we just like to say thank you so much. We also, of course, always want to thank God, because without him, this is not possible. This would not be happening. We would like to thank our community of supporters. We have a great support system that always are supporting us, calling us, airing it or sharing it back on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So we are so grateful. Thank you all so much. And okay, we're in session 4. And we are celebrating men's health, okay, for the month of June. And so these recordings probably will go into July, but men's health is important 365 days a year. So, but they appointed June for that time to bring awareness. And again, we're in session 4 with Dr. Chris Cochran and Mr. Keith Cherry. Again, these men have endured much in their lives, but they have overcome as much or even greater. And so Dr. Cochran, again, he has been in the mental health field, the mental health field for over 40 years. He provides treatment services for male and female. He is our personal therapist. And also Dr. Cochran also functions as a military family life counselor. And he has been blessed with several licenses and certifications. So thank you, Dr. Cochran, for taking out time today to be with us. And Mr. Keith Cherry, we're going to tell you thank you on every session for your service to the United States of America. And
appreciate the support.
Yes, and you have served over, now he served in the Air Force. So he served over 22 years in the Air Force, and also he has been deployed to various locations, including Operations Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. Just to name a few, you've gone a lot, haven't you? And he also has over 20 years in the IT field. And both of these men are family oriented. So again, thank you both so much for taking times out of your busy schedule, out of your family schedule to come and talk with us and the community.
Yep.
Okay,
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So in session 4, we're going to talk about making life changes, making life-changing decisions to be better. And that's something we've talked about in the previous sessions, that you've had to make decisions, regardless to what you had in your life. And all three of you all have had different situations. But to God be the glory, you're here today, and it's evident that you've made some great decisions in life. So what is the danger of not dealing with trauma and leaking out on others? Because if you don't take care of these things, like we talked about in the last session, you can be in shape and stuff, but you got this whole situation going on the inside, and eventually it's going to spew out. Yeah. So what is the danger of not dealing with traumas, and then you end up leaking out on others?
Well, I think trauma, even before trauma, not everyone is taught how to express how they feel.
Okay.
Okay. In the Black male community especially, counseling is seen as a negative on your character. You're kind of less than if you seek out counseling, kind of thing. So when we get to trauma, that's much more intense, much more painful, has a greater impact on the individual and those around the person. And it's kind of like an open wound that just festers and just festers. And it really doesn't say erupt in infection until you get to a similar situation down the road with similar dynamics, and then you're re-triggered, so to speak. Okay, and you go through that situation, how you responded to it, and the response is just part of the survival mechanism. You know, just like sexual assault or any of those kinds of things, or just like war, combat, being in prison. These are the extremes of humanity. You don't see bodies laying around or people being killed, whether they're incarcerated or not. They're still being killed. You know, and sometimes it's too much. It's overload.
Okay.
And the trauma helps you separate that so you can continue to function and stay alive. That's how the body's mechanisms work, just like, you know, when you digest food and you feel sleepy, well, all the energy is being directed to the stomach and the digestive tract to help you break it down. That means everything else might not get the usual amount of energy.
Well, that looks like some of the dangers of that is the trauma that you surround yourself with, and the shootings and the killings and all become the norm.
Yeah.
And once it becomes the norm,
you become addicted.
Yes.
Wow.
You become part of the problem.
You become addicted.
So you keep that, you shared in the previous sessions that you were in the projects and you heard, to their point, talk about that with you.
Like you were saying, you become so used of it. It was part of life to, if you're outside playing, all of a sudden gunshots are going off, or you know, someone got shot, someone got robbed. There's been another drug bust. It was just normal. So you get to a point where you're actually numb to it.
Wow.
And it happens for, you know, a period of time. Then once the cops and everybody leave, you go back to your normal life.
Right.
Wow.
And what happens with that too is, of course, you internalize those things. Like I remember there was one night, I think I was around about maybe 8, 9. I heard gunshots in our neighborhood, and our project was 2-story. But I heard the gunshots. It terrified me. I heard some 2 people talking on the side of our house. And then I could see the shadow. One of them had a 9mm. And they were after someone that was walking across in between the projects. But I never forget, after I heard those gunshots, I slept under my bed that night. And I had to use the bathroom. I never forget, I held it until I saw the sun come up.
Wow.
That was like in the early times. And then, like I said, as time went on, it became normal, so we just dealt with it. And I'm going to fast forward here. Then coming into the military, I didn't want to tell my TIs and everything that I had a problem with guns. Because of hearing gunfire, I did not want to touch a gun, didn't want to be near a gun. But of course, part of my training and basic training, I had to use a gun. And I never forget the instructor told me, he said, look, I'm not going to be holding your hand through this whole thing here. You need to get this gun and you need to shoot it. You need to get this gun and you need to shoot that target and pass this. And I had that pride in me. I was like, well, from where I'm from, you know, you don't really tell people what happened. So I wouldn't tell them that. Thank God helped me hit the targets I needed to pass it.
Yes.
But that was one of my things because, like, honestly, to the day, I don't own a gun. And that's part of the reason. Because of what I dealt with during those times, that trauma. Of course, throughout my career, I had to go shoot guns many times, so the fear of a gun is over. And I understand now how to separate the two.
Okay.
But the memory's still there.
Yes. The memories are still
It's like
there.
a memory card, huh?
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're saying every time you touch a gun or even see a gun, that's the first thing that pops up. And
Wow.
that's basically what trauma does is, you know, when a person is triggered, their brain flashes back to whatever the traumatic experience was. So just think if great-grandma or great-grandpa went through what they went through during slavery, and they passed that down to grandma and grandpa, and now they passed that down to our parents. Well, it's not that they're bad parents, but they're passing down what they know. And I guess over generations, we get a little bit more and a little bit more. But how many people are willing to do the work to understand what happened? There's another good book, Post-Traumatic Stress Slave Syndrome. That's lady named DeGruy wrote it. And you can go to YouTube. She does workshops and training, and it's exceptional.
Wow.
I know I had a fear of guns and killing and all, but mine was the opposite. I didn't want to get used to it to the point where it was a norm. I knew that myself, if I come to the point where it became a norm, a way of life, all the feelings would be gone out of me, all the caring, all the personal is seeing another person harm become the norm, that I was numb to it. That was my greatest fear. And I knew, like I always told you, I always knew myself.
Yeah, you have.
I knew. You said, no, you don't. I said, yes, I do. I said, if I get to, if I do this and I come numb to it, it might become a norm. And that's the greatest fear that I had of going to war or anything else, that violence was the norm, because I knew I couldn't cut it off.
Well, now my brother, I don't know if it was the norm or what he was feeling, but I know he wouldn't hesitate. He'd drop you in a minute and go back home and finish watching TV.
He was a sniper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a sniper.
Yeah.
I remember you shared that with us.
Yeah, he
So he was trained in that.
Yeah,
that was normal.
He'd do you in a heartbeat and wouldn't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not confessing anything. That's what
talking
disclaimer, huh?
Talking about trauma. So I used to be the school mental health worker in one of the counties in Metro Atlanta, and I was working in one school with the elementary school kids, and these two, they were cousins. They came in there one morning, and they were saying, Mr. C, did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? They would just live it. So it kind of calmed down and said, yeah. It was on the news. There were helicopters and everything. So finally what they were talking about is some people kicked in the door at their apartment and started beating some people in the apartment with a big anchor-sized chain. And then someone got shot at close range, so the bullet went through the first person and killed two people.
Wow.
Okay, they were hiding under something, and they were covered in blood spattering. Okay, and the whole concept was saying to these school administrators, now you expect these youngsters to go sit in a class and do 2 and 2 equals 4. After they just saw that last night.
Wow. Got a lot of work to do, don't we?
Well, yeah, and, listen to, for example, Steve Harvey and other people have said it, frequently. The sad part is we're doing this to each other. See, that's the hard part. Used to be something from the outside was doing us. Well, now something on the outside can sit back and smoke cigars and play golf because they know we're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to do us.
So that raises a discussion about changing from how you were raised versus how life really is or can be, going back to making decisions.
Well, it's two different things. We live schizophrenic lives. I mean, you talk a certain way. You reference and communicate with family members in a different dialect. But you can't go to the bank and have a customer come in and, hey, what's up, cuz?
Correct.
You can't do that in the bank.
No.
So, when you leave home, by the time you walk in the door at work, you got to change into this other person. And And then when you get off of work, you get to go back home and change back into maybe who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, it gets hard to keep track of all that stuff. That's traumatic in itself.
Oh yeah. I know my wife used to get me all the time. I said I think I was raised by a pack of wolves because I had no rules. I had no shortcomings and I had no how you say, no limits. It was whatever you felt like, do it. You know, that was the model I was taught, and I know when my uncle told me that, I said you crazy. If I felt like going out there to kill somebody, you said that's called I felt like it was okay. I said that's the stupidest
But
thing.
some cultures have that kind of decision-making thought where they don't interfere in someone else's life.
Right.
If you want to go stand out there on the tracks, nobody's going to jump up and try and prevent you.
Right.
You know, you're free to decide. You know, but the other part, the transition part, is the military has recognized it. The prison systems have recognized it. You've got somebody in a structured environment,
Right.
high stress environment, high trauma environment, high everything environment, and then you turn them loose in a situation, whether you're military getting discharged, what PCSing, is that
Right.
what?
Right.
Okay, or getting released from prison, another highly stressful, to this, you don't understand what's going on. Somebody do something wrong to you at Kroger, where it used to be you handle it right there.
Oh yeah.
Now you got to call the police. You got to do a police report. And somebody who doesn't have that level of understanding that now you're in a whole different environment. That you're not, as you say, in the jungle or with the pack of wolves.
Right.
Just stay out of mountain men country. Because Tom can shoot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my wife taught me that because I came home and all, and I was going through my military mode, and my wife said, "Hold up, we're not your soldiers," and that caused me to wake up right then and there. I said, "They are not my soldiers, so they can't get out there and do the front lean arrest and all like that, and get out there and run a couple of miles for punishment." I had to change my whole strategy, way of thinking.
And I feel that that's important for us to bring awareness because it was the norm. He's still military, even though he's retired. He has those military movements about him. Like I had to recognize when I need him to do something. If something needed to be done Monday, I don't need to tell him that today because it's going to get done today, even though it doesn't need to be done until Monday. But that's how he's wired. You understand? So we're about to close. I would like to ask you men this here. Words of wisdom that you would give to a man before embracing a wife or having children, and the power of accepting that you need help. Because from what I've heard, sometimes, and you correct me if I'm incorrect, even though you may love a person, but are you ready to say yes to or cover this young lady or bring children? Nobody's perfect, but into the world that's not you haven't come to terms with. Let me say that. Okay, it's different if you come to terms that, okay, I need help in this. I love her and I want children. So you're doing the work, like Pastor, can we call you Pastor Chris?
Speaking into his
As
life.
long as you don't cuss me.
Speaking into his life.
What is it? Because we only have a few minutes left, guys. Words you would give to a young man that before embracing a young lady as his wife and having children?
I think one is learn how to be that person's friend. Less the sex and the other stuff. Learn how to be that person's friend. And then the second thing would be premarital counseling. Find a really good premarital counseling, whether it's through your faith group or a secular counselor or whatever, who can facilitate a conversation with you and your bride-to-be or wife-to-be about different things. For example, my wife, she wanted the spot. She wanted to get a spot in relation to, do you want to get a house or not? She wanted to get a spot. Her grandma told her, you better get you a house, girl. Okay. Okay. But again, that's important. You know, because you get into that kind of arrangement and then find out, like I'm joking with the young lady at work, one of my supervisees, she's going to have quadruplets. And
God bless America.
She's saying, no, I'm just going to have one. I said, no, sister, you know you're going to have quads. You're going to start it all right.
Wow.
One shot.
Quadruplets.
One shot.
Wow.
So, and she said, no. But again, those are important. How are you going to handle the money? You know, and this affects everybody. Who is it? Jared Kushner and what's the Ivanka, whatever. They had issues because he's Orthodox Jewish and she wasn't, so she had to make some adjustments and begin to attend his faith. But those are significant kinds of issues that hopefully folks could address before they say, I do.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, he's basically said it all.
You said it all?
Yeah, especially counseling, which we didn't do, but you should have counseling before because everything was a surprise and it's like marriage was like opening up a gift. You didn't know what you could get inside the box until you got it.
And there are a lot of small boxes in there wrapped up.
Oh yeah.
But you know, counseling wasn't talked about. We went to the gentleman that married us on the base, but
back in the 40s.
I wasn't even here, sir.
No, I'm just joking.
I know, but we went to, they were telling you about marriage, but that get down like what you're talking about. I did get that wisdom from my father. That told me, and my mother, that let me know, okay, like my father asked me, do you understand what it means to be married to a man in the military? For me, I was like, yeah. No, I didn't, And of course, I had wisdom from my mother. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, mine was completely awesome. My father told me, you ain't got to marry him. I said, okay, thank you. That's good. That's good advice. Go.
Well, but the Lord told you I was your wife.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all that count, right?
That's right. You following
that's
directions.
All that counts.
Yeah, you follow directions, right?
Well, when you leave the house and your mom or your spouse are saying that's not a good idea, you usually have a bad time. Whatever it was you thought you needed to go do when you leave the house.
Yeah, they're warning you.
You need to be paying attention and stay home and get the remote and be happy. They saying stay here, don't go.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yes, that is so true. Well, guys, this has been amazing. Thank you all so much. We hope that the audience have embraced what you all are saying when it comes to men health, okay? The mental, physical, and spiritual of a man in that breakdown. So thank you all so much.
Oh, okay. So there's a place in that book that says when you get married, you become one.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yep.
But what does that really mean for your personal relationship?
Yes.
Now, you can't, I know. Genesis
you stuttering now.
Yep. Genesis 2:24. It beat me down the rest of my life. And it's been a rule I've been going by ever since. And God know how to correct you because I said, I ain't going to do it. And then I couldn't sleep for 3 days. So God know how to get you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Because this could keep going.
It's all good.
So yeah.
Well, thanks for the opportunity as well.
Yep, this was fun.
Okay. So we give out these mental health hotlines to whoever is listening, 988 hotline. And Mr. Cockrum is a licensed counselor at Life Management. So you can call that number, reach out. He is amazing. We have been so blessed for him to be our counselor. And so also there's a text home to 741 That's free 24/7. There's the NAMI, that's the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and you can go to their website and reach out by the state you live in. Also, there's a general community resource of 211, that's 24/7 services. And of course, if all else fails, call 911. Mr. Perry.
My mind is a gift. My body is a temple. God has invested in me. Question for myself. Why waste the investment? This has been Young People Nation. And remember, there is always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what he gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going, keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by his love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth onto what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.